1, resident utility assessment. Ron, do you need to speak any more of this? We had the public hearing on this.
No, unless you had any questions for staff or questions about the maps or the work that's to be completed. Oh, I do have one, I'm sorry. The only change from what I told you at your last meeting last week to this is that a rock clause has been included in the, let me catch up, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Okay, back on track. What you have for consideration is just the resolution. We'll talk about the rock contract in a minute. I'm sorry.
Motion to adopt.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 1410-0001, directing that the Upper Kentucky Road Phase 1 Residential Assessment Portion Public Utility Extension Project be undertaken.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed. The Town Hall project discussion. I understand, Bill, you're going to give that report?
I have the enviable task of appearing before this distinguished group that after working for 5 nights on a report on your behalf, I find that we need for you to make a slight alteration in the instructions we were given. I will acknowledge that we did wander off the reservation just a bit, but it was strictly for the purpose of this being as complete a report as we could provide you and everyone here, and also to try to provide a report that will eliminate the need for additional reports that would challenge its credibility. Although I don't bet 100% on that, but we want to have a report from what would represent almost 500 people, 270 some households, that can be a baseline, hopefully, for everyone starting to work in a way to find a solution we can be proud of. So, I have a lot more I could say about it, but I hope I don't need to. If someone would please make a motion to cut us loose.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we include in the report from the ad hoc committee all comments, including comments on the lot outside the gate.
Second.
Any discussion? Is that what you needed?
Please.
Okay.
I just want to thank the committee for their work, and I want to thank everybody involved in the process, except the United States Post Office. I can't really thank them very much. I have to, must admit I say that. But it sounds to me like you had a good number of cards returned. Is 270, which is a phenomenal return. Is that by standards of postcard mailings and coming back?
I think for these postcard mailings, that's extremely high, not
Okay.
knowing where some of them ended up.
Well, I did actually email everyone that I heard from who had said that they had not gotten a card. I recontacted each of those individuals, and everyone said that they had gotten their card at that point in time. So, whatever.
They have. And we've got a good report for you.
Louder.
We have a very good report for you. And
Call the question.
Those in
No.
favor?
No, we're not going to call it yet. We haven't talked about it. Okay. Come on.
What you gonna say, Jack?
I'm going to say no. That's what I would say.
You gonna say that? Call the question.
Well, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Jack McCaskill opposed. That has to be in the record as far as government goes, so that's why I say that. Bill?
Go on with your plan. You're on.
It's the big show. Madam Mayor and distinguished commissioners of the town of Montreat, we are the ad hocers, a humble group. If you were serving on an ad hoc committee with a 5-day life and told to get the results in within 5 days, you'd be humble too. But I want to add parenthetically that it was the 5-day life that was most enticing to me about joining this. But even so, we agreed to step up and seize this pivotal moment on behalf of all of you. We know about the First Amendment. It's for a reason. As Yogi Berra said, it's first. But it is important to pay attention when the right of every person to say what they're entitled to say is allowed, as long as you don't yell fire in a crowded theater. We have tried to give you, Madam Mayor, Town Council, and all citizens a helpful report for making an important decision which will be a symbol of who we are for many generations to come. This information can help. We received over 270 cards representing approximately 500 members of our community. All voices will be heard. We've had to make a judgment on what to include given our instructions. We concluded unanimously that all cards must be included to include those preferring sites outside the gate. We do not wish to fan the flames of discontent. Rather, we hope that this complete report can provide a basis for moving forward together to find the very best town hall decision for Montreat. Let us begin in earnest to find a way to let the town hall stand for the time that the extraordinary people of Montreat decided to let their higher selves trump a narrow and divisive course. A time to be good and grateful, a time to be proud. I am proud to turn this report over to our distinguished and award-winning teacher and principal, the very lovely and talented Linda Stroop. And in the cleanup spots, we have two remarkable men. Mr. Distinction, former Commissioner Bill Hollins, and the incomparable Emery Underwood. If you don't know Emery, you ought to. Just reserve a fair amount of time. He has a lot to teach you, as he has taught us. Friends of Montreat, it's Linda Stroop.
Rest assured that each member of this committee served with a great sense of responsibility and commitment to this task. Our meetings began last Sunday, and we met for several hours on each of the 3 days that followed. In addition, we spent time working at home entering data with a collective total of 60 hours spent reading, recording, and analyzing the data on the 270 cards that were received by the town office staff. It was a daunting task, but it was important and serious work. Before general statements are shared about the data, I'd like to just explain the process that we used. Bill Hollins took a leadership role in getting us started, planning meeting times and places. The mathematician of the group, Emery Underwood, provided each of us with an electronic Excel spreadsheet on which we could individually record data from the cards we were assigned to read. The master Excel spreadsheet, which Emery prepared for us, for you to use, organizes all the data and is written in a very concise, easy to interpret format. As we read each and every comment, we recorded keywords which describe why sites were acceptable or unacceptable. Environment, green space, cost, size, location, safety are just a few samples of descriptive words that were written on spreadsheets under the sites. And now Emery will share some conclusions drawn from the data that was generated by the survey.
Hello. The actual number was not quite 270, it was 268. And the first thing we did was to put a number on each card. We then decided to record data in a spreadsheet as follows. The first column contains the number on the card. The second column indicates attendance at the meeting with architects. The third column indicates a visit to the website. Next, there are two columns for each of the four sites. The first column containing an A, or a U or nothing. The A represents acceptable if the comments appear to indicate so, and a U if the comments indicate unacceptable, otherwise nothing. And the second column contains a brief synopsis of the comments. Finally, we have two columns for other comments. The first contains a C or a blank, and the second contains a synopsis of a comment for something other than one of the four sites. And the C indicates a desire to consider or otherwise look at a different site. The results showed 83 attended the meeting with the architects, 194 looked at the website. The sites with the most acceptable comments were Pratt Park and near the post office. The site with the fewest acceptable comments was Florida Terrace. The site with the fewest unacceptable comments was Pratt Park. And the site with the most unacceptable comments was Florida Terrace. 60 cards indicated that none of the four sites was acceptable. And finally, 87 cards indicated a wish to consider another site, with the majority looking outside the gate. And Bill Hollins will now give our concluding remarks.
Thank you, Emery. We accepted this assignment because we thought it was important for the community to express their views and for you, the mayor and the commissioners, to hear the views. Now, we have done our very best to serve you honestly and to the best of our abilities to report all of the opinions. It is the committee's hope that our work will be just the beginning of a process that will unite our community. You know, together we can take this first step towards some degree of common consensus, a way of finding middle ground, a way of cooperating, and a way of listening to each other. Now, if this is done, we can have a town hall of which we can all be proud. A town hall where citizens will have input as the project moves forward. A town hall that will be a welcoming gathering place for generations to come. A town hall that is located convenient to all. A town hall that is in the style of Montreat architecture. A town hall that is landscaped in a way to reflect our love of the mountains. And most importantly, a town hall that provides an excellent work environment for our many dedicated employees. So on behalf of the committee, I want to thank you for giving this opportunity to us to serve our town. And this is respectfully submitted on this 9th day of October, 2014. Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I so move that we accept this report with gratitude for the work of the committee and for the input of all the citizens who participated.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is there some way that we could ask the clerk to scan this in?
Emery will provide me with digital files
Thank
after
you.
the meeting. It'll be posted as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you.
In case you didn't hear that, Emery will provide the clerk with a digital copy, and she will post it on the website as soon as possible.
And that'll be early tomorrow morning
It may be under the meeting.
after the meeting, in the best and all possible timely fashion.
Yeah, I want you all to know that Misty often leaves our meeting and goes back to the office to work. She does a wonderful job as clerk, and she spends a lot of time doing work for our community. Those in favor of accepting this report?
Aye.
Those opposed? And I'd like to say thank you to Bill and Linda and Emery. I know this was a huge task, and we appreciate the time you put into it and your love for Montreat. Thank you.
And just want to thanks to all of you who've attended the meetings, and thank y'all who've looked at the website and emailed us. We've had lots of emails, and getting 270 cards back, that's about 268, excuse me, is a pretty remarkable 50% return rate. I don't do much of that, but I understand that's a pretty remarkable rate. So thank you for everybody participating.
Our new business is the change order approval.
There was a discussion on the exterior conceptual design plan. I don't know if you want to talk
Excuse
about
me.
that quickly.
We saw an exterior conceptual design plan. Is that moving more in the style and shape that you want?
Yeah.
You want
More
to speak to it?
I like it more residential. I'd go with you on the green for the windows.
I agree on the window colors. And assuming this is, everybody understands this is still working on the Florida Terrace, because that has been the charge before the town council up to this point. So just so people are aware, I know there was some inaccurate information in the paper this morning, and no, we're not ready to begin construction. So.
I apologize for that. New business, we have a change order approval for Upper Kentucky Road, Phase 1, Neighborhood Utility Assessment. Motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the change order number 6 from Huntley Construction Company dated September the 10th, 2014, with the revised contract amount of $288,375.36 for the Upper Kentucky Road Phase 1 Neighborhood and Residential Utility Assessment Projects.
Second? Discussion?
This is
Mayor.
the second phase, Ron?
Yes, sir, and
It's past the yellow.
that's correct. I've got a map here. I'll show you in just a minute. I just want to call your attention. The only thing that has changed is a reference to a rock clause that will increase the contract amount by $7,000 for trench rock. or increase the contract $5,000 for mass rock excavation if we hit any rock. Again, I did not include that in my report.
Surely you don't think we're gonna hit rock in Montreat?
I would almost guarantee it. And let's see, we do have a map here just so that you can see the Phase 1 neighborhood is sort of the yellowish there on your right. And then the Phase 1 resident assessment is the red in the upper section.
Any other questions? I hope this is the last time we'll see this.
Yes, ma'am, I do too.
Those in favor?
Aye.
5 in favor, none opposed.
I should have asked this before. Ron, are they gonna have to put in a culvert up there?
Yes, sir, there is a small creek or gully that they'll put a culvert in.
All right. Thanks.
The next item of new business is well A02, replacement on Graybeard Trail.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize do we need Ron to speak to it first, or?
We can do it from
I'd make a motion that we authorize Caldwell Well Drilling to drill well A05, replace well A02 on Graybeard Trail for a price not to exceed $22,000, and authorize the mayor and town administrator to authorize any necessary related contract documents.
Second.
discussion. You want to speak to it, Ron?
I covered most of it under my report. So if you have any additional questions, I'd be glad to answer. That is for the $81,000 that we will receive in FEMA money.
And when would we be expected to see completion and use of that well?
I will ask Steve that question. Within 6 months.
So we'll get it done in the low population time in Montreat.
That's correct. That's correct. I believe we're pumping now about 3 hours. 3 hours. So we're in a good position to go ahead and replace that well.
And it's 3 hours total, not just 3 hours for that well.
That's correct.
There was a point in time which the town of Montreat was dependent on the town of Black Mountain for water. Is this new, with the wells that we have now and the well fields that are active, are we in any way dependent on Black Mountain for water at this point in time?
No, I believe it's been 4 years, 3 years? Almost 5 years. Time flies. Almost 5 years since we've had to purchase water from Black Mountain. The nice thing is that when we put in the wells on Harmony and Graybeard, we knocked our pumping to around 10 to 12 hours during the summer, which is our heaviest time.
And as part of that process, we purchased some property from Montreat Association a few years back. Are we getting close to paying those notes off?
Those have been completed.
They have been completed
Yes,
now
ma'am.
at this point in time, so that money is available for other projects that we would need.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Those in favor?
Aye.